welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Lisa DiBiase, Landing Real Estate Owner-Broker, and I'm here with
Matt DiBiase, designated broker, owner, Landing Real Estate.
I'm really excited to come back and be with you all today. We brought a couple special guests with us. We have Kristen Roy, who's been with us for 9 years, and we also have Britteny Barr, who's been with us for 3 years. So excited to have you ladies here with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. I'm excited to jump into today's discussion. Let's just all talk about what's been on everyone's minds for the last 3 years. Interest rates. Can we get a yay, they're going down?
Yay, finally.
NAR has just put out their forecast for 2024, and the feds supported what their forecast was, which is to do some interest drops. What does that mean for us in our real estate market in Portland, Maine, and our surrounding areas in today's market for buyers and sellers?
So I think with the interest rate discussion, there's a couple big factors right now. The first one coming into 2024, I would say, has to do with consumer confidence coming into the new year. I think it's put a lot of not only buyers at ease, but also sellers, where they're feeling good about the next year, the spring market. I think a lot of people were kind of on the fence, in the wintertime, what's going to be going on next year. So I think that has really given everyone a positive perspective. And then the second is obviously interest rates. Interest rates coming down, buyers are going to be more apt to pull the trigger, to do something come springtime or even late wintertime, which where they were probably not going to, thinking last year.
Right.
So I think that has really given us a positive outlook for the beginning of 2024.
Yeah. Do either of you, Kristen and Britteny, do either of you have buyers or sellers out there talking to you about their decision process and making, like, what's keeping them from maybe pulling the trigger, or on the contrary, the buyers that are like, I just can't wait? Should either of you have any examples of that or thoughts about that?
Well, there you go. First, if you want, Kristen.
I do have quite a bit of buyers waiting for what we're hoping for is a big rate change. As you said, the Fed has promised some rates coming down. We have a lot of buyers waiting and texting. I feel that the spring market is not a market. I feel today is the spring market. We're in the market, and everyone's really excited just to get going.
Well said. Well said. Okay. Another interesting statistic that came out of the NAR forecast was that Portland was named one of the top 10 cities nationwide that has a pent-up market. And what they meant by pent-up is a lot of sellers kind of waiting to make that decision to pull the trigger. Do we think that we're going to see an ease into 2024 with all of that?
So I definitely have a lot of sellers that are on the fence, are waiting to see what happens, and are really ready to go if all things are lined up. How about you, Britteny?
Well, recently I feel like I've had the seller dilemma of, if I sell, where do I go next? And I think it's honestly been a lot easier to find them their next home, and we've been successful in it. I mean, we've been successful in it for the last 2 years anyway, but I think it's gotten easier.
Yeah. Do you have anything like that?
No, I mean, yes, absolutely. But I agree with you, Britteny. Everyone feels that they're waiting for the buyers to have the multiple offers and get going. And I know that that's happening now. It hasn't stopped. And I feel with the rates coming down, I have been preparing my buyers to be ready, work with an experienced realtor, and just get ready to go.
Yeah.
Have the pre-approvals and the conversations around where you're going to go. And if you don't go, where you're going to stay.
Right.
I love it. Now, you just mentioned experience agent. You've been with Landing for 9 years. We're so grateful to have you a part of our family. Can you give me a little bit of history behind, why you chose to go into real estate and how you got to Landing Real Estate and what that does for you?
Sure. Put on the spot. But 9 years in one place is it's a challenge. I feel I've come from a couple larger agencies. When I first started, my color was blue, and then it switched to green, and then it switched to blue, and switched to green, and now we're green. So it's been a long road, and I definitely would not be here today without the education and the phone calls from Lisa and Matt and Landing Real Estate. Constant education, the one-on-ones with Lisa and the Tom Ferry programs. I really feel that Landing Real Estate has a really solid reputation, and that's something I look into as a realtor, because when you're new, you have nothing to stand on your own, so you have to stand on the reputation of the brokerage that you're with. And picking Landing Real Estate, that was one of the number one things, is your reputation is so essential, especially in this market.
I love it. I look back to where we were when you first joined us, and I think we had 7 agents or 9 agents, and it's been fun to grow with you, and it's been really a personal journey to watch you grow into such a successful realtor. I feel like you've got the Raymond lane up there, and they love you, and not that that's the only area, but you've done a really great job. So I'm impressed by all that you've accomplished.
Thank you.
I'd like to actually turn it over to Brittany, because you've been with us for 3 years now, and you actually came from a team. So what was it like when you left a team, and how did that, how did jumping into the arena, being on your own and solo, look like?
Yeah, I came from a larger company, but I was on a team, and I think I needed some hand holding at first. Like you said, when you first start out, it's difficult. So you need some hand holding. However, when I came over to Landing, again, another thing that was really important to me was having a local company, where I know the owners, and we're in the community. So that was really important to me. And then just the support that you guys offered. Like you said, the one-on-ones, the weekly coaching calls. I mean, I took the little bit of business that I had from the team, and I came over, and I just tripled that business through you guys, through Landing, the support, and a close-knit group of realtors that I work with that I now call my friends. So
you've exploded.
Yes, it's been fun to watch. Absolutely. What are you telling your sellers, and when you go on a listing presentation today? What's your advice to the sellers?
My advice to my sellers right now is that the buyers that are out there right now, they're serious. They're serious buyers. They're not the ones that are just going to be kind of flaky or back out. And there's still a lot of buyers out there looking. I mean, there's still multiple offers happening. So waiting for a spring market where we don't know what the market's going to be, we can always predict and have assumptions, but we don't know what it's going to be. We do know what it is right now, and we're still getting multiple offers.
I've always said, if a home is on the market or a buyer shows up on Christmas Eve, there's a reason, right? They're trying to buy something. They have to buy something. They're a very motivated buyer. And if the home hits the market right around the holidays, and the seller got to sell, right? It's always been like that.
So you're right, Matt. And then also when you have the spring market, you are going to be, as a buyer, you're going to be competing with that many more buyers. So even though we're telling the time is now, and this is when we know what we can guarantee a seller, but for the buyer's side of things, there's way more competition in the spring. And, people tend to just think, let's just wait until spring. Has there been sellers or buyers that you've encountered that are trying to wait until spring? Is that a conversation that you're having with your clients?
Yes, I do sit a lot with my buyers lately. My plan right now in my real estate business is to enjoy the holiday. We do have one last week of wrapping presents and getting out there and seeing the people. But while seeing the people, just making it more of a personal connection, not always robotic, not always just realtor stats and information. But I agree with you, Lisa, getting our buyers ready for what is coming. As Brittany said, you can predict. We have no idea. But I would say, sit with your financial advisor. What's your objective? Where do you want to go? When do you want to go? As we sit with Matt and Lisa every single year as realtors, What's my objective in 2024? How many houses do I want to sell? What towns do I want to work in? So it's kind of the same for the buyers. If I use that same model of getting myself ready for the year, and I share it with my clients to help you be as ready as possible.
I love it. You know, the other piece of advice for the buyers out there is stick to the budget. I think that a lot of buyers have gotten a little in over their heads and just trying to secure the property. And what's happened, and I'm sure you guys have had this happen, where the buyers back out because they're not able to actually either purchase the property, or they just simply got cold feet. We saw a lot of that in the last couple years. So in my working with buyers, I'm usually like, just stick to your budget and don't overthink it.
Agreed.
So switching gears just real quick, one of the things we've been very successful with, this year is starting the mastermind meetings, one in South Portland and one in Wyndham each week. Whereas a company, we kind of get around a round table, go over ideas, questions, maybe a podcast, and then talking about new listings that we all have coming up, as agents. One thing came up with your situation last week.
Yeah, no, I think the masterminds are great. And personally, the growth that I feel as a realtor to have them, because you're connecting, you're learning from your peers, but also we're sharing and we're interconnected, and we're sharing our listings, we're promoting them, we're promoting our buyer needs, which is super important. You need that. And I mean, we recently just got a property under contract off market because of those connections that we have.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
And what about you? You've been going up to the ones in Wyndham, right?
Yes, I don't get to Portland too often as much as I would like to. It's one of my goals of 2024 is to be more present. One of my biggest takes from the masterminds are there's all ranges of experience. We have owners of real estate companies. We have Brittany that came from a team. I've never worked on a team. We have brand new agents and seasoned agents. We have the same questions and all different answers. And it's just nice to have those round tables to hear what everyone else is doing and how they're going through all the experiences of the changing markets of their clients.
Yeah. Different perspectives from different people.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
I will say, Matt, that's been one of the best creations that you implemented for us. And I know that the agents all are very engaged in those meetings. So it's pretty cool to see all that grow.
Thank you.
Well, if I bring up the statistic from the beginning of 2020 to today,
Yep.
our prices in the state of Maine have increased 64.9%. It's a big number.
That's a big number.
It's a really big number.
It's not a great number.
It's also not a great number. I agree with you, actually.
Well, a lot of people are going to have an issue with that. Buyers and sellers.
Yeah. And I mean,
Well, sellers are going down,
right.
right? So it doesn't really, it's not great for them now because they're going down, and then buyers are pissed.
Right, because they paid a lot. But if you think about where do we go from that number? I think we're starting to see some price reductions out there. And again, Brittany said it earlier, we cannot predict what the spring market is going to give us. So, where do we go from that number in our market? And what does that look like for our future buyers and sellers out there?
I mean, a bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. We've always said that, where we know the market is today. We have no idea what it's going to be like in the spring or in the summer of 2024. So a lot of people, are on the fence. They're probably going to jump off.
Yeah. I actually want to say, where the sellers are today, not all of them, but a lot of them, if they took advantage of refinancing, they're at those sub 3% interest rates. And then you also have this enormous amount of equity. I mean, 64.9% is a lot of money to have as equity in your home. I know it won't correlate relatively to each specific household if that's your equity, but that puts sellers in a position to really think about what that equity can do for them, and whether the time is now to make that decision to move. I really believe that we have to get away from the mentality of the interest rate and what number is it at. The number of the interest rate is irrelevant. It's really what is your mortgage payment and what are you going to do with the equity in your home. So, I think getting away from, it's not 3% anymore is a thing of the past. I think we really have to dive in to that education piece for the sellers to say, if you have this amount of equity in your property and you were to sell it today and take that equity, what would you be able to purchase it for, and what would your mortgage be? So I feel like that's a whole different conversation than where we've been.
So I would say one thing that I've been talking to my sellers, or even my past clients that I've helped them purchase properties. I mean, it doesn't end there, right? We continue to give them the knowledge that we have. And I think one thing I've reached out to my past clients about is the equity in their home, and that they can take out a HELOC, right? That's one option. What do you do with that equity? Maybe you put it back in your house. Maybe you remodel, you update your kitchen, maybe you add an in-law, accessory dwelling unit, create some rental income. I mean, there's lots of possibilities. So I think, staying up to date with that sort of information, giving it to your past clients, and talking to your sellers about that.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. I think we all need to stop looking at the rate as a whole and looking at the real estate as an individual. What do I need versus everyone's doing? Do I need remodeling, like Brittany said, into my own home, investing in myself? Do I take money out of my home and become an investor and maybe look into purchasing my first Airbnb? I know that's really big. And these huge numbers that Lisa are talking about, I think Mainers we're not used to that in this fast-paced, growing market. How do we keep up with everyone else? And we forget that we don't need to keep up with everybody else. We just need to do what's best for ourselves. So I agree with you, Brittany. And all of you, I agree with all of you.
I think that was great. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do something fun here. We're just going to go around. Quick goal 2024. It can be anything. Anything?
I'm taking a 90-day boot camp investment class. So my goal for myself, personal level, is to purchase my first Airbnb this year, either in the state of Maine or maybe somewhere else.
I like it.
Yeah, learn something new.
I like it. All right, Matt, what kind of goals do you have? Just give us all one.
I would say to continue to grow landing real estate, to keep things going onward and upward.
Wonderful. I think for me, it's going to be staying present and in just life and business both. I feel I've been kind of spread thin through the last year. Very happy to kind of step into 2024 with just being a lot more present. Brittany.
My goal is to increase my business and to give really good, I think, quality customer service to my clients and continue that. And yeah.
I love it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Looking forward to the 2024. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the people who joined us for the Landing Real Estate Holiday Party. We just appreciate you guys so much and for being with us and celebrating 2023. It's been a great year and looking forward to more.
Yep. See you in 2024.
Yeah. See you soon.